Hello, Lycos. Welcome back to our channel. It's me, your fave, your one and only, your baby girl, Malai. So today we are doing the critical review of Mr. Aloy's series, Another Mistake in Marriage, episode 43. It starts with Jeff, who is with one of the guys that attacked Bulaji. Jeff is trying to make them understand that they attacked the wrong person, and the guy was right because the guy is trying to make Jeff understand that you did not give us the picture of the person. You told us about the car that the person lives there, so how were we supposed to know? Which justify the reason why they will attack anybody coming out from that car, especially if it's a male. So Jeff understood that he made a mistake, and he asked them to lie low because he never thought for a second that Bulaji long throat guy will be there. But at the end, he found peace because he said, after all, Bulaji is a bad guy, giving Kizito bad advice, and the guy reassured Jeff that anybody who attacks you attacks us, so we have to go after them, which is okay for friends. The next thing shows Kizito sitting at home and being impatient that how come Bolaji is still not here up till now. Then he receives a phone call, them informing him that Bolaji is at the hospital, and he was surprised, like how come Bolaji was supposed to go and get us something to eat and whatsoever. So eventually he's shocked and he's surprised. He needs to go to the hospital. So the mom wants to know what's going on and everything. Kizito is a mama's boy. Mommy will always want to be, mommy will always want to know what's up. Well, Kizito cannot explain anything because he doesn't know what's actually going on. He needs to get to the hospital to be able to understand what's going on. So Kizito told his mom that he has to go to the hospital, to find out more details about what happened to Bulaji. And the next scene shows Flora at home, and somebody knocked, so she's going to open the door. And it's George. Like, as I can't lie to you people, when I saw George, right, I was just like, Kizito is done. Kizito is done for, because this combination against Kizito, this is recipe for disaster standing right here. These two people. Kizito is done for. Like, as gone are those days when Kizito and the mom got away with everything. There's this thing people need to know. If you are a bad person, right, and nobody is fighting, yes, karma is definitely there and God is definitely there, but now if you are a bad person and you have people that you've done so much evil against and they are trying to fight back, I promise you, when they have the same resources that you do and you are evil, I promise you cannot make it out of it alive. That's a promise. So George, anyway, Flora is still skeptical, about George. She doesn't really know George that much. So the George is reassuring her why she's here and that they are fighting for the same cause, which is Angel. And based on the fact that they are fighting for the same cause, they have to join forces together, because George he's doing his own digging. Flora is doing her own. But the difference between George and Flora that I see here, Flora is sentimental. She's a woman, and apart from that, she went through it. And there are certain areas in the things that she went through in Kizito's house that she will not, her emotions will not let her revisit it so easily. Whereas George is a neutral person. He's a man. He's like him. All he wants is he's not letting his emotion get the best of him. So he's trying to do things the proper way by doing so much digging to get so much evidence that he can use against Kizito. Whereas Flora, she's doing things without really gathering enough physical evidence. It is now her word against Kizito's word. So with George in the picture, it makes it a perfect combo. Yes, because George has actually paid the PI that is doing the digging. Flora also did the same thing, but her physical evidence, like, they are not good enough. And now joining forces with George, that is a recipe for disaster against Kizito, truth be told. Because George actually wants Flora to revisit what happened to their son, to be able to tell the story and to do some diggings to know a lot of things, which is not good for Kizito, but is good for Angel. You understand? So Flora had no choice than to revisit what happened, and you could see her face, the emotions. It was so painful for her. This is a mother that saw her child being thrown off the balcony, of their home, and he cried. You understand? So it's so painful for her. That's the thing. So now these two now together trying to, George is doing his own, Flora is doing her own. Omo, Kizito is done for. Kizito and the mom, I don't know how they'll manage to get out of this one. It will be difficult for them to get out of it, because at this point, I don't know what they are going to say. I don't know what they are going to try to do, but they will not be able, because Flora is hell bent, George is hell bent on saving Angel, and they will do it. Now they'll have to dig so much dirt on Kizito, and they'll have so much evidence in a way that Kizito, that DPO that was saying that Kizito cannot, he will not be able to save him this time around. Kizito will not be able to get out of this one. It's not possible, because Flora has decided now the two are coming together. Flora is okay for them to work together, but at the same time, they have to be careful, because Kizito is so corny. They have to be careful, and George knows this. Flora herself, she knows this. Kizito, when he feels, cornered, he can do anything. Yes, Kizito will do anything once he feels cornered. He's desperate. He will be desperate, because he's a narcissist. Once they feel cornered, they don't like it. That is something they don't like. That is one thing, because they will realize that everywhere is closing in on them. They can't do anything. My one prayer is that I just pray that Kizito doesn't fled the country. The next thing shows Bulaji at the hospital. Like, as I can't bear this. Kizito was trying to find out, like, what happened. Long throat. So Bolaji made Kizito to understand that this attack was like he was the target, not him. Based on the way they were punching him and the stuff they were saying, was him they wanted, not Bolaji. And Bolaji was the scapegoat. Oh my God. See, he got the beating of his life. And Kizito is like, I know where this is coming from. I will fish the person out. I'll fish them out, knowing that, Kizito, I can't lie to you, you're lucky, so lucky this time around. Kizito said Bolaji shouldn't bother. He's going to sort this issue out, because he's definitely certain where this is coming from. You understand? So I really, like, I can't lie to you, but I really feel bad for Bolaji, but I don't really feel too bad for him, because this idiot looked for it. He deserved whatever it is that is happening to him. So Kizito just told him to be patient. He shouldn't bother, that he will sort out this issue. I'm sorry, like, I just, at this part made me to laugh like a phone. And Bolaji, see, you couldn't even fight, and you're saying that when you catch those people, you deal with them. Look at your face, look at you. The next thing shows Kizito, who goes to Mama's house, Jeff's house, to look for Jeff, and he's screaming, Jeff, you have to come here, like, I know you did this one. I don't know why they stay with, knowing that somebody like Kizito is around the corner. They leave their door open, for somebody to come from outside. And there Jeff comes, like, he wants to understand the reason why Kizito is ranting, even though already he knew. It's like, so you have the guts to come into this house after everything you've done to my sister. So Kizito now, Kizito wants to fight. Kizito, we've been saying that Kizito cannot fight. Kizito wants to face his fellow man. So now Kizito is punching like a girl, for real. Jeff was like, Kizito, you punch like a girl, please. Is that all you've got? Show me more. In as much as Jeff is skinny like us, and Kizito is so muscular, Jeff and Kizito goes again. Jeff was like, Kizito, is this all you can do? Can you do more? Kizito is so dumb. Kizito is so, I think Jeff is trying to show that Kizito came to his house to fight him, and the way he started beating Kizito, the way he started giving punches, like he was throwing punches, and there comes Mama, like because she heard the commotion and she wanted to know what was going on in her house, and Jeff was beating Kizito, and Kizito, how can you go and fight when you're alone? And Oma, he heard of the commotion. She had to come downstairs to find out what was going on. She got frightened because a scene of people screaming, throwing punches at each other. It reminded her of what happened to her, and she started screaming like, and Kizito had to run away because look at Jeff, look at Jeff's size, look at Kizito's size. Who is supposed to run away from who? God, this Jeff, this Kizito, he's a weakly. So now they had to run after Oma, like this is something I don't like. They had to run after her because um realizing that she got scared and anything can happen, you see, and she got triggered. The next thing shows Oma who has been triggered, now she's scared. She's having a screwdriver that she's going to to yeah, use it on anyone. So they are trying to calm her, making her to recognize, because at this point she has blacked out. She doesn't recognize anyone or anything. The trauma has resurfaced. She's on her violent state, based on what she just witnessed downstairs. She's not okay. It really it really feels bad. It really hurts, honestly. So she's really triggered at this point. So her family is trying to calm her down, to make her understand that they are the ones, they don't want to hurt her. They are here to protect her. Please, she should just open her eyes to recognize them. Apparently when she does, I think she just has to pass out. That's when she realizes. So it's more like it's a phase. Oh my God, I really feel bad for her. I really feel bad. The next thing shows Mama and Jeff at the hospital. Oma, Mama is making Jeff understand that sorry, that he has to do everything humanly possible, because he's making Mama to know that he tried but he failed, hopefully. But Mama said they have to be corny the same way Kizito is corny. Because yes, trying once and you fail, you cannot, it doesn't mean you have to give up because you failed the first time. No, you fail, you have to try over and over again until you get it. Because Mama is like, I've never told you not to do anything. Do whatever it is that you want. Okay. Kizito wanted it. This is Kizito. Kizito look for it. Kizito is a corny person, so we have to start behaving like him. And it's true, like us. That's why they say corny man die, corny man bury him. You see, if somebody is corny, excuse me, you have to try to be like that person as well. It's not their fault that they are beginning to sound like Kizito, or they want to behave like Kizito towards Kizito. Kizito brought this upon himself. When he was treating Angel anyhow, I don't know what he was thinking, what he thought. He thought that maybe based on the fact that she has no family, nobody will stand for her. No, they have to protect her. Excuse me. They have to stand for her. They have to be there for her. So her family have to do anything, whatever it is that they can, to be sure that she's okay. So they shouldn't feel bad that they are doing what they are doing. It's normal. So the mother said Jeff should text Angel. That's what he's trying to do. Then the next thing shows Flora, excuse me, telling George, that they should do this, but George is telling her that she has to be very careful, because Kizito, when it comes to Kizito, you have to be careful, because Kizito is so corny. He's always steps ahead of people. He's trying to do so. At this point that I've decided, I've drawn the battle line, Kizito has stepped on top of it. Yeah, so Flora is reassuring George that she got this. She knows how Kizito is. Kizito was her ex-husband and everything. But this is one thing about us human beings. Sometimes when we have the upper hands, we feel too confident. We start underestimating. So you shouldn't. You should never underestimate anybody standing in front of you, because you don't know their strength. You shouldn't. You shouldn't. You should not get overly confident. No, you should not. It's not allowed. Okay. So George has to leave, and Flora stays back to watch TV. The next thing shows George in the car leaving. Then he realized that he doesn't have his wallet. Like, I think maybe he wanted to buy something or whatsoever. He doesn't have his wallet. Then he realized that he forgot his wallet by Flora's place, so he needs to return, to find his wallet. So he's trying to turn the car, and the next thing shows Flora sitting watching TV, and she hears a knock, and she was like, "Oh, I hope he did not forget something." Then she turned around, she saw his wallet. She was like, "Oh, I think he came for his wallet." So she got the wallet to go and open the door, but to her greatest shock, to her greatest shock. Anyway, you guys will have to wait the next episode to see what happened. Like us, we are going to end this video. Thank you so much for everything. Like us, I can't lie to you people. I am so happy. Why am I happy? I'm happy because Kizito will soon get what he deserves. Kizito and the mom, because they think they're undestructible. They are, you know, invincible. Like nothing can happen to them. They have connections, they have money, they have everything. So they can do whatever they want and get away with it. And this is the thing about rich people. And sometimes it baffles me because now people didn't see when Kizito was doing all of these things to Angel, because Kizito is always showing this good perfect husband thing. Now another person outside will be like, oh, this is how they used to do. You want to bring people down, they want to bring, but because Kizito has this, the way he behaves, like, oh, he's a good person, he's this. My people, don't let that fool you. That's why I always say mental health, please, we should do everything to protect our mental health. Marriage is a beautiful thing, and spinsterness is not is not a curse. No. So we should be patient to wait for the right person. It's very important. We shouldn't rush, because when you rush, or you feel pressure, don't let society pressure you into anything. Marriage is good, but don't let society pressure you into being married by all costs. No, don't. So that you will not end up the way Angel ends up, with the wrong person who does rubbish to her. So on this note, I'll have to say thank you so much. Stay away from toxicity. On this note, I have to say bye, guys.